What's up, Waiting with Ware family? It's Jaquan Ware.
And I'm Asia Ware.
And Bay, this is season 2 of No Time for Sex podcast.
Season 2.
Are you ready?
I'm excited.
I'm excited too, man. This is the first episode of season 2, and man, I just hope you take something away from it.
For sure.
I just hope you take something away from it. Man, let's get right into it, bro. Like,
Okay.
we ain't got really no time to waste. Nothing.
Listen, season 2 is probably going to be the best season yet.
That's how you feeling?
I feel that way. We've taken the time to really curate this thing for months.
Mm-hmm.
For months, we've been asking God to just show us the direction we're supposed to be going in. And I think it's time.
I think it's the right direction as well.
For sure. So let's dive right in.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, episode 1, do's and don'ts.
Let's get it.
Let me read a
Let's get it.
something for you.
Uh-huh.
So oftentimes, as beginners in Christ, we focus solely on building our relationship with God based off of a list.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a list of do's and don'ts. What can I do? What can't I do?
Mm-hmm.
How many of us, when we first started building our relationship with God, when we first encountered God, started initially by building the relationship and focusing solely on, can I do this as a Christian? Can I not do this as a Christian? Can I go here as a Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Can I talk to him or her as a Christian? And kind of just curated this list, and the relationship really just diminishes because you're focused so much on this list and not so much the relationship that you're building.
For sure.
And I feel like oftentimes this list hinders us from truly experiencing building a relationship with God.
Yeah.
When you focus solely on building and connecting with the King, reading, praying, going to church, the alignment of your relationship allows your discernment to know what you can and can't do. So you're not even really focusing on what I can and can't do. I'm just living this thing out, you know? And so I just wanted to pose this question. When you begin to build a relationship with God, because our audience, we get this question almost all the time. I'm in the beginning stages. What first? Like, what do I do first? And when you began to build your relationship with God, like, what was that first initial thing? Were you one of the ones who kind of went on that list of do's and don'ts? Or were you just kind of like, man, God is my homie, and right now I'm just gonna consider him as that?
So I'm gonna go way back.
Right.
Even when I was younger.
Okay.
I always grew up in church. My mom was in church, my dad was in church, but they never forced God on us.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they never forced God on us, but we just saw how they was living. It was always the example. Like, we always knew of God, but we didn't really know God. You know what I'm saying?
Yourself, yeah.
So, bro, thinking about when I was younger, I really didn't know about a relationship about God.
Right.
I didn't know you can create a relationship. Like, I didn't know God can almost be your best friend. Not even almost. He can be your best friend.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Well, I did know, and I did hear, like, I mean, God answers prayers. God gives you whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So I did hear that. But building a relationship with him,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't know that at such a young age.
Yeah.
I'm glad my parents didn't really push it on me. Like, hey, get to know God, get to know God, get to know God.
Yeah.
And they led by example.
Yeah.
So now, I got saved, what?
2018,
No.
2019, 26. No,
Not
2017, 2018.
No. It was like 2019.
Okay.
It was 2019.
I graduated in 2019.
Yeah, it was
So we
2019.
started our journey like my junior year.
But I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I go back.
2018, 2019.
I go back when I first started building a relationship.
Yeah, 2018.
So
2019.
even about 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Man, going to church, like I always say, going to church, and I was consistently going to church, and the words my dad was preaching, it was real.
Yeah.
and I could understand everything he was talking about, and I could relate to what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So at that point, he made God, like the words he preached, he made God sound so relatable.
Yeah, it was familiar now.
Yeah, it was familiar for me to be like, let me try him out. And I was never the guy that saw God as corny.
Yeah.
And I say that because my dad was still cool, but he was still living for Christ. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, at this point, let me try him out.
Yeah.
So I didn't even go in as what I can do, what I can't do. I think it crossed my mind for sure.
Yeah.
And at that time, my heart was changing, just like you said, like your discernment just changed all of a sudden. And it happens out of nowhere.
Naturally.
So do's and don'ts, I knew I couldn't smoke no more.
Yeah.
I knew I couldn't do this no more. I knew I couldn't do this no more.
Yeah.
And it's really, not that I couldn't, I just didn't have the desire to do it anymore. And when I did it just felt funny. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
What about you?
I feel like mine is kind of the same. I think when I initially heard who God was, I was like little, like young. So in my household, with my biological mom, we didn't go to church. So it was like, you know how, the typical black family is like, we go to church on Easter, we go to church. No, we didn't go to church. Not even on Easter, not even, like, we didn't go to church. So then with my grandma, when I would go to my grandma's house certain weekends, or when I officially moved with her, I would go to church. And to me, I'm young, so I'm not thinking about a list of do's and don'ts.
For sure.
But I did view Christ as that, though. Like, I kind of saw it as that, like.
You talking about
when I was young.
Okay.
So I did see it as like, okay, now that you about to get into the church, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. Like, what can I do? What can I do? Like, because I also was in a church that was very Baptist. Okay,
Gotcha.
like very old school Baptist. So it was like put the skirt over your skirt and do this, and you need to sing in the choir. Like, it was just so, so it was kind of like okay, well, in my mind, maybe even a little bit, okay, if I don't sing in the choir, I'm really not serious, or I'm really not, But as I got older, and I kind of, okay, now, you go through the childhood thing where, okay, I don't even like church, okay? But then when I built a relationship, right? I feel like everybody has that. It's like, because you keep making me get up in the morning. It ain't even about where I'm headed to. It's just why do I have to get up so early?
And why you keep waking me up to go?
It's just that part. I feel like when the relationship started was 2017, 2018. I'm in college and I'm seeking something now. Like, I need answers. I want to know why I do what I do. I want to know why I am here. I'm seeking this answer for purpose. And I just knew, again, when your parents instill things in you, like, they don't force it on you, but like my grandma wasn't forcing it on me, but however, those were the seeds being planted, like you just said with your parents. So when I got in college and I'm in this strange place, now I know exactly who to go to. Like, I knew, 100%. Okay, I don't know what this thing is about to be like, but I just know to call on him, to start reading, to start praying. And at that moment, I wasn't even about like you. I wasn't thinking about a list at that moment. I was really just trying to seek a relationship. And I said this before, when I first started building my relationship with God, I focused on who he could be to me. Okay. That was the only way I could kind of relate. So in that moment,
can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How did you even get to that point?
I felt like I was seeking something. Like, it was just this thing, like this desire. I just felt like I was seeking something, and I didn't know exactly what I was seeking. And at that time, I wasn't really comfortable sharing things with people. And so it was just like, who would I be comfortable sharing things with? And I was going to church, in college. I was going to church. I was hearing good words, And so, I don't know. One day I just woke up and I was just like, okay, God, you about to be my father. Like,
For sure.
and that's how I'm going to acknowledge you, because I trust my earthly father with everything in me. Like, I just don't play about him. So it's like, if I have that type of respect for him, I could just imagine what I'll have for you. So
For sure.
when I initially started the relationship with God, like, although I know God knows everything, right? But I was telling God stuff that you probably wouldn't want to tell your daddy, right? Because I didn't care about the list. I didn't care about if I could do this or if I couldn't. I was just trying to get it off of me. Like, God, this is what I did. This is what. And that's why I go back to the point where I say, I think when you focus on that list, you just dilute the relationship, because although God knows all things, like, he literally wants us to say certain things. He wants to hear it from us. So because that goes with confessing and stuff like that, right? For me, I was confessing things. Of course, he already knew I was doing, but I had to be comfortable and okay with throw this whole list thing away.
For sure.
It's not like, oh, you can't drink, oh, you can't smoke, oh, you can't have sex. God, this is what I did yesterday. I don't know what I'm just telling you, and I'm pouring it out to you. And so that's where I feel like the list, for the beginners, it kind of hinders our relationship, because you're focusing solely on what you can and not do, and you're kind of walking around robotic. When if you just fully indulge yourself into building this relationship, he's gonna change your heart. He's gonna change your desires. Like he just said, it's not that, oh, I couldn't smoke no more. His desire for smoking wasn't even there.
It's just all of a sudden.
It just went away.
All of a sudden. Same thing about outside of sin, even with abstaining. Like, okay, even though we do it, after, when God starts to work on your heart, you feel it after.
Yeah.
Like, you feel the conviction after.
Yeah.
And that conviction comes with building a relationship with God. Not saying what I can and can't do.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So when you start working on your heart, bro, it's just it's a relationship then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a relationship then. It's just like me and you go together, right? You get what I'm saying?
I wanted you to bring that in there.
It's like me and you, we kicking it, right? And I say this. We in middle school.
Yeah.
And I saw you, but I knew you was my wife when I first saw you, right? And then we used to talk on the phone all day, every day. When I seen you in school, you used to just give me these hugs I never got from a female. Like, your hugs was just like I like holding her. You know what I'm saying? I love holding her. And then you just being you touched my heart in a way nobody ever touched it. So I'm swallowing spit and stuff. You know,
I got them nervous, y'all.
But you touched my heart in a way no girl, nobody has ever touched my heart.
Yeah.
And I was hooked on you. So I think that's how God moved. Like, he just bring you in. But it's on you to start the relationship though. Like, he's right there, but it's on you to start the relationship. It's on you to cut out well, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that either. But bro, it's so much that you can do.
Right.
It's so much that you can do. Like, really, the cans outweigh the can.
Right. It ain't too much you can't do. It's just like,
I can't smoke.
Think of that. Yeah.
I can't drink. I can't have sex before marriage. Bro, God ain't doing nothing wrong to you, bro. He trying to save you.
Yeah.
That's it. He trying to keep you more focused than ever. He trying to keep you unblind.
Yeah.
Because even when you do those things, like, that blinds you. So he's our help more than our adversary. You did?
I think that's important, because I do feel like most of the DMs, like most of you guys that DM us, it comes with that. Like, hey, so I'm just trying to figure out like where should I start? You know, like I'm still partying and I don't, you know, and it's just this big list. And it's just like, if you just first focus on building the relationship, God is gonna do all of that other stuff anyway.
It's
you know,
easy.
like I didn't have to stop having sex.
Yeah.
God he had already did it. Like he done isolated me for 30 days. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm over there, and now that's the only thing permeating my heart. It's the only thing on my mind is I like how I feel over here. I feel clean. I feel closer to him.
Yes.
And so it started there. Like when you get back, you can still have this same feeling. And then he just kind of tells you what needs to be let go. And then your thing may not be somebody else's thing in that moment. And so that's why I feel like if you just focus so much on the list, you look into the left like, okay, she said she had to cut all her hair off. And she said she had to, and it's just like,
So I got to cut out my hair.
It's just too much. Like, it's just focus on the relationship. And I think, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but my mother-in-law posted online and she was just speaking to the beginner in Christ, and she was saying like the best place to start. And so I quote her, she was saying the best place to start as it relates to reading is in Matthew. And she was like, get to know Jesus first, then everything else will fall in line. I know for us, ours was a little different. I don't know if we specifically started in Matthew, but when we were on our wedding journey, we wouldn't be like this book, then this one, then this scripture. We didn't go by scriptures. Like we had a book that we would be reading, and we weren't reading it together. It was just like, it was me, you, and Kylie actually. Like it was like, okay, we reading John this month or this week or whatever, and then we would just kind of have different dialogue like, did you read chapter 5? Like it was just that. And so reading those different things, it just kind of, it got so good, you just wanted more. Like the stories got so good, you just wanted more. The stories got so good that you just start seeing it in real time, in real life. And I think that that's the biggest advice that we can give you guys. Like if you're thinking about waiting, if you've waited before and then you messed up, if whatever it is and you're thinking about building a relationship with God, the first thing we can say is just build the relationship.
Build the relationship. Don't be a trendy person when dealing with God. If, just like you said, well, I cut my hair off and then I start taking a bath, then you know what I'm saying? Just
I gotta
stuff
I gotta sage the house.
Like, come on, man.
And,
build your own relationship with God. And I know it's certain people that's been forced. Well, it's certain people, that's been forced to surrender to God. And that turned them away.
Okay,
But bro, try it again
for yourself
and build your own relationship with him. Just build your own relationship with them, and don't worry about what I can do and what I can't do, because in our mind, the can't gonna outweigh the can. In our mind,
because we don't know enough.
We don't.
We only know the things that we're doing, which we know we can't do. And so it's like, well, if I stop doing that, then who am I? God just making me this little brick wall. So we don't know enough to even wrap our minds around a list. Just simply focus on the relationship. And I like what Jaquan said before we wrap up about just like a relationship with a person. When you get into this relationship, you want it to work so very badly. Like us with God, we want it to work so badly. We don't want to upset him. And so it's like, you want this relationship to work so bad, but you can't walk in on eggshells, because that's when things just get crazy. Like you walking in with this relationship with this guy, and it's like, wait, he don't like when I smack. What did he say? What did he say? He don't like this. He don't like. Just be his friend. Just get to know him. Then we'll figure that stuff out later, because naturally, what you get into know that person, it's gonna be like, okay, I know she likes this. Let me start doing this, because you start doing more of what they like.
For sure.
And that's why the dislikes don't even matter. Instead of going in like, okay, he don't like when I yell, he don't like when I talk loud, he don't like when I if he like when you kiss him,
it ain't gonna work.
You like when he hugs you, you know, just do those things, and like the other stuff won't even matter. And I think we look at it so complicated, but why do we feel like it's so easy to build all these humane relationships?
And it ain't.
And it's like, if you can do that, girl, you can do the relationship with God.
Because with God, he wants you. It ain't no playing no games. It ain't no mind games being played with a human. Dude or girl gonna be playing some type of game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that I like it just because I want something from you.
Yeah.
Bro, let God touch your heart. Build your own relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
And let him just touch your heart. Like, because in this life, I choose this life way before worldly life. Because it brings such a, when we say vibe, it's definitely a vibe.
Yeah.
It's definitely a vibe.
Yeah.
So.
All right, y'all. Episode 1 of season 2, Do's and Don'ts. We are out. Don't forget to like this video, share it with everybody, share it to your platforms. Comment down below and give your input. Like, when you started building a relationship with God, or where are you currently? Are you in the list phase, or are you just like, God is going to take me as I am and I'm going to learn to do and be who he says I am? Let us know in the comments. We love you guys, and we will see you next week. Bye.